This is the Hypothetically Sound podcast,
hosted by Alec, Randy, and Xavier,
where we take a hypothetical look at the world around us,
exploring the what ifs, maybes, and how comes.
Join in on the unfiltered, raw, and real conversations
as we explore the world around us. Welcome back to Hypothetically Sound. We hope you are having a great day. As always, I am one of your hosts, Randy, joined by the other host, Alec.
How's it going?
And we are continuing our journey on Apple Music's top 100 albums of all time. And today, we are on album number 72, SOS by SZA.
Hell yeah.
So obviously, Alec, you are a young, hip guy who uses TikTok occasionally, or YouTube, or Instagram. So I'm pretty sure you know who SZA is.
Yeah, man. I do. She's under Kendrick Lamar's old label, TDE.
Yep, Top Dog Entertainment.
What did you say?
Top Dog Entertainment.
Anyways, but yeah. She's a neo-soul alt R&B singer.
Yeah.
And she's been around for quite a little bit. So
yeah, definitely her biggest album. It came out in 2022, but singles were started to be released in 2020. She had 6 singles, 5 of which were top 10 hits on the Billboard Top 100. Interesting enough, she was the longest reigning female to spend most consecutive weeks in the top 10 until this year when Taylor Swift passed her. But she was the first R&B album to spend its first 7 weeks atop the chart since Whitney Houston.
That's pretty good.
She obviously killed it. Unfortunately, she did not win Album of the Year. She was nominated. She had 9 nominations in total. But she did win Best Progressive R&B Album at the Grammys. So, she's pretty successful. Even if you don't know who it is highly unlikely you haven't heard her music in one shape or form or another. But I'm excited. She worked with some fun people. She had Don Toliver, Travis Scott on it, some Old Dirty Bastards on it. She worked with songwriters like Babyface and Lizzo and Darkchild and a bunch of others. So Benny Blanco. So she had a lot of people who know the music industry work on her album with her. And I think it shows.
Yeah, no, it's great.
But it is a 23 track album. And we're just gonna dive into it because it's a long album.
Yeah.
We're gonna start with track 1, which is the namesake track, SOS.
Yeah, man. Getting right into it. It has that alt R&B sound just right off the rip. And I do think it is a okay start to an album.
Yeah.
She's doing like this sing rap thing, and it's just pretty smooth overall.
Yeah, I think it's, like you said, it's a nice introduction, nice flow, good voice, nice sound. It's a solid start. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Which is fair. It's only what, a minute, 20 seconds?
Yeah, it's a very short bit of it. It's not long at all. And again, it's just a start,
Yeah, it normally would be considered an interlude, but it's long enough to be considered a short song.
Yeah. But with that being said, it brings us into the next song, which is one of the singles off of the album, Kill Bill.
Yes. Her last single, I believe. No, Snooze was her last, so this is the 5th single that she released.
You've probably heard the song.
Yeah.
If you've been on TikTok. Yeah. It's a good song. It's catchy. It's
super catchy,
especially for like a murder ballad type song, man. Like it's very, very catchy, very, very good.
What I find interesting about this song, it is, to me, if they convinced Eminem to go like mainstream, like I want songs to play on the radio, this is what Kim would sound like if he made it that way. Like, it has the same vibe.
Yeah.
Like, she's just very politely mainstream, PG saying the same thing Eminem said to Kim.
Yeah, pretty much.
But it's great. Like the chorus is fire. Like it's a super catchy chorus. You
Oh
can't
yeah,
help but to get into it.
it 100% deserved the popularity it had.
Mhm.
And with that being said, I gave it an 8 out of 10.
I also gave it an 8 out of 10. I enjoy the song a lot. And it's one of the 6 songs of hers I knew before coming into this. So,
Yeah,
uh,
which is impressive because like you don't seek out SZA.
no, not at all.
Like
I definitely never went and was like, I want to listen to a SZA song,
yeah,
which might change in the future. Probably most likely will change in the future. But we move to track 3, which is Seek and Destroy. And it was a good song. It sounded good to my ears.
yeah. In my opinion, the chorus isn't up to par with
Yeah.
like Kill Bill, and then like the opinion stays strong going throughout the album. The chorus isn't really up to par, but honestly, the verses
Hmm.
go super hard, and she like slides on them
Yeah,
again.
she's really good. Like you said, she's really good at choruses, and that's something that sticks out on all of her hits. Is that she has really catchy choruses, and that it's partly her, partly where her working with some amazing artists and producers and songwriters. But yeah, it was definitely missing on this track.
It was just a little too repetitive and basic for me, and
Hmm.
like her writing style in most of these songs is like an over complicated rhyme scheme in her verses, and then it's like a very simplistic chorus that's usually catchy, but this one was like basic even for her.
Hmm.
Even but again, it's still not bad. Like it's still a solid song overall. Like the verses save it for me 100% and make it like not really matter that it's super mundane chorus. In my opinion, I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, same.
You also gave it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Damn, look at us
Uh,
go.
yeah, which moves to track number 4, Low.
Yeah,
Sick beat. I instantly liked the beat when it came on.
yeah. It had like a surprise vocal from Travis Scott on it
Hmm.
that I wasn't ready for, and it does have like this like darker beat that like I felt like Travis would be on.
Yeah, it was definitely a nice mix of like R&B, hip hop. It sounded like someone's hip hop song that like Weekend would feature on. It had that feeling to it, at least to me.
Um, but yeah, she like the song's titled "Low." Her tempo for the song's great, and she even like lowers the tone of her voice and singing
Hmm.
voice in it to like match that.
Yeah,
But yeah, she just like slides on the track. I'm gonna
and
say that a lot.
I bet it bumps in the car too. Like just the
Honestly,
sound in
yeah,
my like cheap dollar store headphones. I bet if I had good headphones, the song would sound even so much better.
yeah. I mean, I'm gonna say this a lot. She definitely just slides along the
Oh,
track, man. It ain't.
every track, even if like it's not as catchy or it's not
Yeah,
the beat isn't great, it's not from lack of her
yeah.
trying.
No. And Travis's ad libs, I know you don't like ad libs, but they fit in so well.
Yeah,
Like it's not consistent, it's not like constant. It is like well placed ad libs that just
mhm.
made sense and felt like like fit really, really
Yeah, it is a well constructed album. Like
yeah.
definitely a lot of thought went into the album. This album was meant to make her a star, and I think it did.
Mm. Uh
I did give it an 8 out of 10. I really
yeah,
enjoyed the song.
I ended up giving it a 7.5 out of 10,
Fair.
which moves us on to Love Language. Which is kind of crazy because she samples her own song from her previous album
Hmm.
on this, which is kind of nuts.
Yeah.
Um, on top of it, you have Ty Dolla Sign supply some vocals at the end, and I guess
Hmm.
like in it, which isn't too bad. Her voice is super nice in the song,
Yeah, yeah, fantastic.
and oh,
Go ahead,
I'm
sorry.
sorry, I was gonna say, and the beat selection is again very, very good.
Pharrell Williams had his hand in this track.
Okay, yeah, I don't know. Does it start with the three? His legendary like 3 beat?
No, no, he was mostly he's credited as a writer, but it's Pharrell, so you know he put his 2 cents into the track as well.
Now, if the beat don't start with a dun dun dun, it ain't have any of his sense in it.
uh, yeah, no, but it's a great song. The "Call Me" section, that's like the chorus or the pre-chorus, super dope. Like
Uh-huh.
the way she does it and the flow of it really pulls you into the song.
Yeah,
And we're what 5 tracks into this album, and the prime feeling behind every track is she just doesn't want to be alone
yep,
so far. Uh, which understandable. Like it's a real feeling, especially when you're hitting this fame, and she hits on a different track. When you hit this fame, it's hard to know who to trust, and like it makes you feel alone a lot. I bet. Like obviously, I don't know personally, but I can see it and I can understand why you would feel alone.
mhm.
But I
What'd you end
liked
up
it.
giving the track?
I gave it a 7 out of 10.
I also gave it a 7 out of 10.
It was a good track.
But then it moves us on to the next track, which is "Blind."
Mhm. And we said it earlier, and we'll say it again because I have this note a bunch of times. She's really good at making choruses sound really good. Uh, like it's really simple. The chorus is her saying "blind" a bunch, but it sounded good how they were able to stack it and flow it together.
Yeah. So I actually thought the post chorus was a little much.
Understandable, I feel.
Um, but like she still slides on it, like during her verses, like it's still good, you know.
Hmm.
Um, I don't think like it's a solid song, but I don't think I personally would seek this out. But that doesn't like diminish
Yeah.
what I thought of the song.
Hmm. That's understandable. Uh, One thing she does that I like after listening to the album is her song titles are very poignant to what she's actually singing about. Like a lot of people just have random titles or they use the word once. Obviously, she uses the word as the chorus, but also just her lyrics are on point. Of like she says when she's not able to look inside of herself for her own self worth at times,
Mhm.
and she's just blind to it, and it's very poignant to the title of the song and the album so far, and it's really good. Like her storytelling is actually really really well good as well. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
I ended up giving it a 6.5 out of 10. Yeah, which moves us on to "Used" featuring Don Toliver,
Yeah,
who I'm a big fan of. This beat very smooth yet bouncy for what we've been delivered so far.
yeah.
Don on the chorus sounds super solid in my opinion.
Hmm.
He's the only one who's on the chorus of this, and their voices work so well together and fit the beat in their own way. It's really weird. It's kind of like a contrast that just works because Don Toliver has this like modern day, almost Travis Scottish type voice,
Hmm.
maybe a little higher pitched. I don't know.
Yeah.
He has a unique way of singing, and SZA also has a very unique voice, but they're on different spectrums of the uniqueness to me.
Hmm.
And so it's like a big contrast, but it works so well, and they somehow found a beat where they both fit on it as well.
Yeah.
And then like SZA hits the verses with like a mix of like sing rap and singing,
Hmm.
and it's just good. I think
Yeah,
it's just
no,
really good.
it's a great song. I enjoyed it. Like I said, they worked well. They complemented each other. I brought it up just a second ago, but she has the line, "Can't trust anyone you ain't been broke with." Such a is a real line. Like if when we become famous or rich, yeah. If I didn't know you in these 34 years before, I ain't trusting you after.
And if I knew you in these 30 years, 29 years, shit, sorry, almost decaded myself there on accident. In these 29 years, and I ain't like you, I probably won't like you when I'm rich either. Fuck it.
Right?
God.
What would you
Um,
give the track?
I gave it an 8 out of 10.
I gave it a 7 out of 10,
Okay.
which moves us to her most recent single, Snooze, track number 8. And honestly, it's a hit for a reason.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like there's not much I can say about the track. Like, if you haven't heard it, go listen to it. You'll love it. It sounds great. Her voice is on full display. Everything about it is just super catchy. It's a love song too, and it's just super catchy.
Yeah, man. Snooze has been a regular on my playlist forever now. I don't even know when I added it. It's just there. I
Hmm.
hear it pretty often. I enjoy the song a lot. Her voice is soothing in this. The beat's soothing. The transition from voices to chorus. It's just a classic, like alt R&B song. It's one of the better ones that have come out in a long time.
Yep.
It's all just smooth and it's a good show of her voice. It's definitely just like a 9.5 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I gave it a 9. But
Yeah, it's
I
up
can see
there.
the 9.5 is not something to sneeze at, and like I
I
can understand why you gave it to it.
I will be honest, I did have it as a 9 before,
Hmm.
but there were some situations on this album that made me be like, you know what, it has to be bumped up.
Hmm.
So,
No,
and we'll
that's
get
fair.
to that. Yeah,
Yeah, and then so that moves us to track 9, which is "Notice Me."
senpai.
I liked it a lot. I
Yeah,
feel like that is you're listening at home, and you're just like, they keep saying the same thing. Well, when it
it's
what is what it is. Like, I like the song a
it's
lot.
it's super difficult also to talk about these songs because they're all very her style of
Hmm.
sound, but at the same time, they're not similar enough to
Yeah.
like be repetitive, right? And so it's really hard to describe these songs without saying the same shit because it's like, yeah, this is SZA. Like, I don't think anyone else could do this sound like
Hmm.
she does.
And all of the songs, credit to her, is 23 track album, but the longest song is like 4 minutes and 38 seconds, and like the average length of a song is like 3 minutes. So they're not extremely long songs. Like, they do the verse, they get to the chorus, do the verse, and then the finishing chorus. And like, it's built really well to keep people interested in the music.
Yeah.
But I thought she had a great flow with the lyrics and the instrumentals, and it had a nice bouncy catchiness that made me do a head bop as I was listening to the song.
Mhm.
It was fantastic. I gave it 8 out of 10.
Yeah. I like the use she did in like the under the first verse and into the
Mhm.
chorus. It's like you. I don't know. It's weird. I gave it a 7 out of 10 though, which moves us on to Gone Girl, named after that movie. I think I've seen it. That's the worst part. I think it's a movie. I
Mhm.
believe it's
Yeah,
a
no,
movie.
there's a movie called Gone Girl with
Yeah.
Casey Affleck, I believe.
Yeah. Um.
Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments.
Please. He needs to know better. Anyways. Yeah. I mean, it's got to be named after the movie. I don't. And I was listening to this, man. I honestly don't think I can ever get tired of SZA.
No.
Like at this point, it was like, damn, I really like her music.
Mhm. And I thought this track in particular, like, this is the first one where I was like, this is a big, or not a big change, but it was definitely a noticeable change from what she's done previously. It had like an older R&B sound to it,
Mm-hmm.
like an early 2000s R&B sound to it, and I really like that change. It gave the album just a quick break from what you've had up to this point, 10 tracks in.
Yeah, yeah. And this song, it's just a good song to like chill and vibe to. I didn't
Mhm.
really hear the lyrics, I
Yeah.
guess, or listen to the lyrics.
Mhm.
Um, and it also really felt like it belonged in the movie, so it's accurately named, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I ended up giving it a 7 out of 10.
I also gave it a 7 out of 10. Which moves us to track 11, "Smoking on My X Pack," another short song. I think it's her shortest. Yeah, it is her shortest song, so it is shorter than the opening
Yeah,
track.
yeah, and it slaps, bro. Dude, this
Mhm.
is legit just a minute 25 of her just rapping.
Yeah, said on the Missy Elliott album, every album needs an ego song, and this is hers. It's just her feeling herself until the end, and then it gets a little less ego-y, but like, it's just her feeling herself and letting you know. Especially because up to this point, it has been very she doesn't want to be alone, uh, and like wondering what her ex is doing. And this one is just like, fuck my ex.
I
Like
mean,
this is
yeah,
why I'm the shit.
it is very accurately named.
Hmm.
Like this, if this was a statement piece, she definitely made it. I thought it was good. I gave it a solid 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I gave it a 7 out of 10. Which moves us to track 12, Ghost in the Machine, featuring Phoebe Bridgers.
Hmm.
Almost said her name wrong. The PH always messes me up when I read
No, that's fair. I also struggle.
it. Lyrically, I thought this was one of her deeper songs. Uh,
Yeah.
it just hits on a lot of good points on how we are as a society now. Ghost in the Machines talking about just our reliance on internet and social peril relationships and things like that.
Yeah, the rhyme scheme in this is also like super like quick.
Mhm.
It's not her normal rhyme scheme of that kind of convoluted ish
Yeah.
way to get to her rhymes, which I liked a lot. Just for sound wise, not going into lyrics or anything, this had a
Mhm.
very opposite sounding vibe to what the lyrics were presenting.
Yeah.
Like this almost had like a dreamy like feeling to it, right?
Mhm.
And I've also never heard of Phoebe before this, as far as I know. Like I
Yeah.
might have, I don't know.
I think
But
you've heard like one or two of her stuff, but
yeah, I didn't look it up because, like,
mhm.
personally, I was like, this isn't about her. This is about SZA. Anyways, and even in her voice, it added to that dreamy feeling that they were sound that was given off.
Mhm.
Even though the lyrics are definitely much not dreamy. Like, I mean,
Mhm.
it's about, as you said, parasocialness and the music industry being dog shit and AI
Mhm.
and all that kind of stuff. So,
And so like I looked it up and like I wasn't like you hit on the second part of it that I didn't hit on. Uh I just want to make sure I was getting the message in her album or the song correct. And it is, like you said, it's about the music industry, the machine. She's frustrated by it. And the parasocialness I was getting was she apparently it's about her looking to her partner to offer her an escape from everything she's going through. And so that's where I got the parasocialness from.
mhm.
So yeah, no, but it's a good track. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I ended up also giving it an 8 out of 10. Which moves us to what I consider a turning point of this
Hmm.
album. F2F. This starts and it sounds like a 2000s rock song,
Hmm.
like pop rock song. It's very confusing. Um, you hear guitar and then she gets into it, and it's such an interesting sound and such a contrast to like everything you've heard up until this point.
Yeah.
And honestly, dude, I did not recognize SZA's game
Hmm.
because holy shit, was this amazing! Like it was really good. I didn't think she was this versatile, but like, like if she gave me a whole album of just that kind of sound, I'd listen to it the whole like 100% on release.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And like you said, it's that 2000 pop rock. I love 2000 pop rock. And so she bends genres really well. That was my instant reaction to this. Was like it didn't feel out of place. She felt like right at home in it, and like it felt like it was something that she's been doing her whole career.
Hmm.
Uh, and apparently, this is one of the Lizzo songs that they wrote together, and and it's just a song about her trying to fill voids. Like that's the whole album is about her feeling alone and trying to replace the love and the feeling she had with her ex. And this is just a classic pop rock song about missing love and trying to fill that void. I gave it an 8.2 out of 10.
Yeah, I ended up giving this a 9 out of 10, and this song was the reason why Snooze got bumped up
Yeah, no, it's fair. It's a
because it's
really good
not as
song.
good as Snooze, but I honestly couldn't give it less than a 9. So,
Yeah.
which puts us to Nobody Gets Me, which again is another non-traditional, I guess,
Hmm.
like neo soul or R&B song. Um, This almost sounds like a borderline country pop to me.
Yeah, no, it is a very much pop ballad of like the 2010s, early
Yeah.
2010s.
Uh,
Very Taylor Swift, Sabrina
it's
Carpenter-esque.
it's actually funny because I did put this sounds like a 2008 country pop
Mhm,
or like a pop country, like kind of what Taylor Swift was doing, but more towards the pop side. So I guess what Taylor Swift is now.
mhm.
Um, the first few lines made me laugh real hard. It's just straight up like no makeup, just Jay Z. You were balls deep, now we beefing.
Mhm.
Bro. Uh, yeah, this is just good. It's just cool. Again, it's good to see how versatile she is and jumping
Yeah.
on different genres or different sounds and making them her own.
No, yeah, it's fantastic. Like you said, like I said, she bends genres really well. She feels at home. Uh, sounds great. And now, like as we're reading, like I'm just on Genius looking at like the about section.
Mhm.
And it makes more sense now. It's not just an ex; it is an ex fiance. That
Yeah,
this album is about. So yeah, her heartbreak makes even more sense to me now, and I can make some of the songs that I found sad even sadder knowing uh, all of this, and it makes and then my questions I have later in the album make sense too now, kind of. But I enjoyed the song a lot. I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. It wasn't as good as F2F, but it's up there.
yeah. I ended up giving it an 8 out of 10. I agree. It was definitely not as good as F2F, but like it was still very solid. Um, which moves us to Conceited, which she's again continuing her genre switch, but this one feels more like a 2010s pop song. So
Hmm.
it's like she went through like 2000s, mid 2000s, and now she's in the 2010 era, right?
Hmm.
Uh, it's bouncy and it sounds good. Of the three like genre switches that we just had, it's probably the worst in my opinion,
Yeah.
but like it's still very good.
Hmm. And the song matches the title perfectly. It is literally a track about her betting on herself and not giving a fuck. It's super catchy. It's interesting to go from F2F and Nobody Gets Me to songs about utter heartbreak to fuck it, I'm over it. I'm doing amazing with my career and life. I'm just gonna celebrate that. It was cool. It was a cool little 3 track like genre bending break to get like a really in depth look at what she was going through at the time. I found it catchy. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, that is super fair. I also gave it a 7 out of 10. That's why it's super fair.
Mhm.
And that moves us on to special. I did end up taking a break for my own good, I guess would be the best way to say it.
Yeah.
Just because
Also
like
took a break.
I was fucking with it a little too hard, and I know it sounds really weird because it's like, well, isn't that a good thing type deal? But yeah, it brain just died. Sorry. It is somewhat of a more saddish song,
Mhm.
in my opinion. I
No, yeah,
think,
I said it was a really, sad song.
yeah, I think that like it's very good still, and really deserves the spot it has
Mhm.
on the album. Though I don't know, it's kind of soft. It's kind of like almost a whiplash. It's
Mhm.
very soft. It's very emotional.
Yeah, to go from, conceited to this, yeah, this is where, like, the building got a little shaky,
Yeah,
uh, in, like, conceited special in the next track, like, the got a little shaky to me. Like, they're good songs, but like you said, it's a whiplash from going from, "I'm good, I'm amazing, actually," to, "Never mind, I forgot that I'm sad."
yeah. It is just a tad bit weird, but
And like so before I was like the fiance thing, I was like I commented, I was like, who in the fuck broke this girl's heart and why? Like what in the world was you thinking? But yeah, it's just a really sad song and like the whole premise is like she gave away something special, and it can mean many things to many people. It can be her heart, it can be her, like, for people out there, your virginity to somebody. It can be all these things that you give it away to someone for the first time, and like now it's something you can't give to someone else, or you don't want to give to someone else because of the pain that you went through the first time. And so
Mm,
I can see a lot of people relating to this song really easily.
yeah.
And I gave it an 8 out of 10. I actually really like the song.
Yeah. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10,
Yeah.
which moves us on to Too Late, which is insanely catchy, in my opinion. Verse 2 goes hard as fuck. And
I must have missed it.
did you not listen to it? Or?
No, I listened to the song. It's the first miss for me.
That's crazy.
I didn't care for it all that much. Like, it sounded good. Like, it still sounds good. It just didn't. Nothing like caught me that made me want to listen to the song more. You know what I mean?
Bro, it has a beautiful like little guitar in it. I would just say listen again because I think you're incorrect.
Yeah, you could be 100. It might be one of those songs where I just maybe something else was in my head, which is highly possible because I'm constantly in my head. And
I
I
mean,
just
again,
didn't catch it.
SZA slides. In my opinion, she's versatile and knows how to use her voice and write a beat. It's a 8.5 out of 10 for me.
I gave it a 6 out of 10.
That's fair. That's fair.
Which moves us to track 18, Far. Um, I thought it was a slow, smooth, great lyrics again track.
Yeah.
It was a good song. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. It definitely felt more like the first half of the album type song
Hmm.
versus what we've gotten so far in the second half. But yeah, sorry, excuse me.
You're good.
But yeah, it was really good. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Hmm. And it's an interesting song. Like I said, the lyrics. It's always interesting to see someone. It's a self reflection song about like how far have you strayed from who you want to be or who you were. And so she's really good at this reflection thing, and I think it's a very cool album for people who are going through the same type of journey, trying to figure out where you are in life or who you are in life. Like, listen to the album can help you if that's your type of like mental recovery to figure out your own stuff. I enjoyed the track. It was 7 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I gave it a 7 out of 10 as well. Which moves us to a song that was named by TikTok. Shirt. It's a real thing. TikTok named it Shirt themselves. Like it was she played a
Interesting.
snippet, it went off on TikTok. People named it Shirt on TikTok and she said, "Okay, fuck it." Like quite literally, it was just like, "Yeah."
I mean, yeah, if it works. I really enjoyed the rhyme scheme in the chorus and just the way she flowed with it.
Mhm.
It was really neat, for lack of a better word. Uh, I just enjoyed it a lot. The beat bumped, got me hooked right away. Those are all good songs. They really, whoever was the producer on some of these tracks does a really good job of catching your interest right away.
Mhm. Yeah, I 100% understand why this was popular on TikTok.
Yeah,
So,
definitely had a TikTok sound to it, which isn't a
mhm.
bad thing. It's what music industry has to be
The thing
nowadays.
about her TikTok songs though is that they're listenable past the like
Yeah,
TikTok
they're much
point.
more than just a chorus
Yeah.
or a phrase or whatever.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I gave it a 7 out of 10. I enjoyed it.
I gave it a 7.5 out of 10.
Fair, fair.
Which brings us to Open Arms featuring Travis Scott, his second time.
Hmm.
Uh and like this again is showing off her voice on a very simple beat, and it was just a smart move because it makes it feel like that much extra, like you pay more attention to it.
Hmm.
She kills the chorus with fantastic vocals, and Travis has his own little verse in it as well, which is like it's nice to hear his pen again. Although
Hmm.
unlike his album, he's kept the auto tune on for it, and I wasn't really like feeling the auto tune that much. I ain't gonna lie, Like the verse is
Yeah.
decent. I just didn't like how strong the auto tune was on his voice.
And like I said, I enjoyed the song. She did really well. I thought he did really well. Like the first half of his verse, I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. We don't need like it isn't a song about being conceited. It's about a song clearly about being open with your partner. And he does good until he's like, fuck it. I'm gonna go back to being the hip hop guy that has to talk about stupid shit. And like he's like, if it ain't 5 star, it ain't me. Uh and he just goes on talking to like just dumb stuff that he doesn't need to be talking about. It doesn't fit his first half at all. And I'm just like, you lost me, man. You had me and then you lost me. Uh like it just made no sense. Like, okay, cool, we get it, Travis Scott. You got money, you're famous, you like to have sex, but that's what this wasn't what this was about. And I was just like at first, like up until that point, it was like an 8 for me. Like I going on the verge of like 8.5, even with
Mhm.
the auto tune. He had to ruin it. He had to ruin it. Sometimes, you just want hip hop stars to like just be real for a second.
Mhm. Yeah, I ended up giving it a 7 out of 10.
I also gave it a 7 out of 10. Which moves to track 21, which is a favorite of mine for a non like single.
Mm.
Um, I enjoyed it. Uh, simple line she has in it that just it made me laugh, and I'm like, and she repeats it a bunch. Is if you wonder if I hate you, I do. Like it's just yeah, straight to it. I found it super catchy, and it just sounded great to me.
So this must be my special or not special. What song did you say? Was it
It
Too
was
Late?
yeah,
Too
too
Late,
late.
yeah. Because yeah, man, this is this is just another TikTok song to me.
Hmm.
And like you said, the funny chorus, like it's just funny,
Hmm.
but feels like one of the weaker songs on the album for me.
Which is fair. And it could be it's just one of those like you said, is a like a TikTok catchiness, but is one I haven't heard.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, but it's not bad. Like it's not bad at all.
Hmm.
It's just not as good as everything else. And it didn't just flow for me as well. So I just gave it a 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I gave it an 8.5 out of 10.
Look at us.
Pretty similar when we dislike something and one likes it. We're pretty
Yeah.
close. Which moves us to track 22, the penultimate track, Good Days.
Yeah. So even though this one was the second to last song, it felt like a closer song to me.
Hmm.
It's like it's very pleasing to the ears, the harmonies, the layering, everything just works really well. And it gives off this feeling of like acceptance and moving on, which adds to the feeling of like this was the last song.
Hmm.
Like this felt like it should have been the last song when I was listening to it. That didn't change my opinion of it. I was just like, dang. I was like, it's over. Like
Hmm.
that was in my head. I was like, this is done because this is definitely closing.
Hmm. No, yeah, no, I felt the same. Like my first note was again, who hurt this girl and why would you do such a thing? Uh, yeah, it was a good song. Is her longest track on the album, and like you said, at points it feels that way. It feels like it should. This was the end of the album, and maybe it feels long because I'm 22 tracks into an album that is very emotional, very emotionally draining. If you're actually like paying attention, listen to the lyrics and stuff. But it was still good. It still
Mhm.
sounded good. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
I also gave it a 7 out of 10. Which moves us to the final song, actually, which is Forgiveless.
Yeah, featuring
Um,
"Oh Dirty Bastard."
she uses ODB sample for the intro and the outro of the song, which
Mhm.
fit on the beat perfectly and fit the theme really good.
Yeah.
And like this also sounds like a final song on an
Oh yeah,
album.
100%.
Uh,
I put in my notes. This is one of the best closing songs to an album, just because of the samples.
Yeah,
They found great ODB samples, and it made the song perfect.
yeah. This to me was her. Was the "I'm Her" I don't give a fuck song,
Hmm.
which is pretty really good for a final song on an album.
Yeah, but no, I really liked it. The ODB. This is that old West Coast, East Coast, North Coast, South Coast shit. Like just talking about uh enjoying music. Uh, like she's saying with this this thing from ODB is basically like no matter who you are, this album can be for you. I'm not hating on anybody. I love you. It's all love at the end of the day. Even with everything I've went through, it's all love at the end of the day. That's literally what she ends it with. Is it's all love, my nigga. Like that's the end of ODB's line. The last thing you hear from her album,
Hmm.
and it's fantastic.
Yeah,
I gave the final song an 8.5 out of 10.
I gave it an 8 out of 10.
I really liked it.
Yeah, it was good. Would you end up giving the album overall as a whole?
Yeah, so since I had so many points in this one, I actually did do a median score, and it was like 7.486. So I rounded it up to 7.5 out of
That's
10.
insane because I also ended up at a 7.5.
It's been a while since we matched.
It has, it has. Yeah, this album was really good.
Hmm.
Like it didn't feel like how long it was. The songs didn't None of the songs really felt long, even the
No.
long ones, They felt quick. Like there's times when we're listening to these that like when I'm looking at the lyrics, I'll see there's like just a chorus left or something,
Hmm.
and I'll just like do a quick little skippy skip. Didn't do that once because I just didn't know we were at the end of the song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just cool. It was a good album. I recommend it highly. Like
Yeah,
it's
no,
just
I
very
agree
good.
100%. Like you said, at no point did I feel sick of the album. Did I want to take a break or anything like that? It just took a break just to let it breathe for a second because it is
Mhm.
23 tracks. But they flowed and she sounded good, and I'm definitely gonna put this like on a playlist if when we go traveling again. Definitely be something I play and listen to, or if I'm feeling sad, I'll probably throw it on because she has some good sad music.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far.
I'm
Well,
more
she has good
emotionally in
set.
tune.
I guess. Weirdo. Anyways, yeah, man. It was a great album. I highly recommend it. If you have the chance to listen to it, go for it.
Yeah, and it's that time, Alec.
Yeah, man.
The time where you give out a shout out to the world.
Shout out to everybody that was fucking with SZA before us, because I didn't recognize your game either, right? Jesus,
True.
man.
True. I've seen people post on her, and I'm always like, sure, okay, she's just this TikTok girl. And boy, was I wrong.
Yeah. 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 I mean, yeah, a lot of times I don't listen to artists because their songs are on TikTok.
Yeah, 100%.
And like I heard snooze and like occasionally you get a diamond in the rough. So that's what I thought snooze was, bro. It
Hmm.
was like, oh, TikTok finally found a song that lasted longer than 10 seconds. Ooh.
Yeah, I never searched out her music outside of TikTok because I thought that's all it was. Like, because there's artists that I heard their music and then I heard it on TikTok blow up. Like Sabrina Carpenter, I heard her music before TikTok. It blew up on TikTok, but like I never reversed thought about looking uh at music from TikTok, which I'll probably do if, for bigger artists or maybe even smaller artists. 'Cause you never know that diamond in the rough you'll find.
Hmm.
But as always, we thank you guys for listening to this episode. We hope you enjoyed. We highly recommend going to listen to this album. It is a game changer in the R&B field. And you know me, I love me some R&B. Uh, Next week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we put out new episodes. We're gonna have track album 71, which is Trans Europe Express by Kraftwerk. Album 70, which is Straight Outta Compton by NWA. And the next Friday, we end the week with Master of Puppets by Metallica. So it is going to be a good week of podcasts next week. We hope you guys enjoy. You know where to find us. We're on Hypothetically Sound on every social media site that there is. We have that blue check mark on Twitter now, so go follow us. So it's worth it. And until next time, have a great day.
Bye.
Deuces. Thank you for listening to Hypothetically Sound. We hope you enjoyed the episode. All episodes can be found at hypotheticallysound.podbean.com, as well as on Apple, Spotify, and Pandora. For full unedited video versions of the podcast, please visit us at youtube.com/hypotheticallysound.